Hey there, social media. Screen actor Sam Lakowski coming at you again. I don't know if many of my viewers are aware of this, but there is a strike going on right now against several major video game companies because these companies have continuously refused to pay voiceover actors in accordance to previously agreed upon contract stipulations after the last contract expired in 2014. It's 2017 now. I'm sure very few of my viewers have heard even one mention of this strike in mainstream media, and this is a billion-dollar industry profiting off of the exploitation of many union workers, and no one is talking about it. So I'm standing with my fellow union performers today in solidarity because there's a strike going on right now. I can't physically be on the picket line, but I hope this is sufficient. I also thought, how can I help my other both non-union and union performers out there as they navigate pilot season in 2017. So I thought maybe I'll come up with a list of ways that the industry exploits or scams or screws over working performers. So I came up with 5 things. There are more, but this is what I have, and I'm going to read them for you right now. Number 1. There was an article posted recently by Business Insider, and it was an interview with stage and screen actor Michael Shannon, big fan by the way. And he goes on record to talk about one of the ways a production company can cut corners to save the production money with something called the Schedule F contract. Basically, if an actor works under the Schedule F contract, it means that after commission and taxes are paid off, the actor is left with nothing. So they're working for free. Number 2, there's another trend going around right now that's basically a contract buyout for actors working on commercial shoots. I think last I checked, again, rates can fluctuate. The SAG-AFTRA rate for shooting a commercial is $671.69, but residual checks can earn an actor tens of thousands of dollars, which makes sense. A company's decision to reuse a recorded performance to bring in more money makes that company more money. So the performer is also owed a cut of that residual profit. But again, to reduce costs, a commercial production might offer a much higher rate on the day of shooting in the form of a new contract, and this is done to entice actors with a larger inflated session fee, but with no contractual obligation to pay the actors residuals later. So the actor gets nothing later as the company continues to reuse that recording to sell their product or their services. So basically, the actor is continuously working for that company for free. It's exploitative. Number 3, there's also this myth floating around about the so-called modified local hire, and when this myth is put into practice, it really allows production companies to save quite a bit of money. So this myth is not being discredited, it's being validated. But here's the rub. There is no such thing as a modified local hire. SAG-AFTRA is very clear about this in Section 35 of the Codified Basic Agreement and in Section 65 of the Television Agreement for all union performers traveling to work on union productions. There are only local hires and regular hires. That's it. If you have proof of residency in a state where the production is being shot, you're a local hire. If you have proof of residence, if you do not have proof of residency in a state where the production is being shot, you're a regular hire. Now, local hires are, of course, cheaper. Production doesn't have to pay local hires to travel and live in a hotel. So production tends to hire more locals. It makes sense. Obviously, a modified local hire attempts to label regular hires as local hires to save a production money. And that's called fraud. And by the way, this fraudulent practice also screws over union crew members as well as union performers. So maybe in the future it'll get more notice. Number 4, there's a common trend right now of blatant discrimination against casting union performers in commercials to save a production money. And it's done in plain sight under false advertisement. And full disclaimer, yes, non-union performers are cheaper to hire than union performers, And no, a production company should not be forced to hire exclusively union performers. But viewers out there might recall seeing a tiny superimposed bit of text at the bottom of a screen during their commercial, and it might read something like, "These are real people, not actors." Well, many times that is a very carefully worded bit of false advertising. Those individuals on screen in those commercials are indeed actors. They're just not union actors, so they're cheaper to hire. But you're being lied to. And you're being lied to so that you think you're seeing a real reaction. It's a performance, and it's insulting to the non-union performer because they are actors. They just are cheaper. Number 5, there's also the infamous pay-to-play exploitation scam that seems to exist at every level of this industry. Basically, pay-for-play refers to the practice of requiring actors and models to pay to be part of something legitimate. I'll give you an example. Whenever an agency or a casting director requires, and that's the key part here, requires, not offers, requires. If they require an actor to pay for representation or a photo shoot with a specific photographer or acting workshops associated with an agency or something, the actor is most likely being scammed. This practice in the state of California and New York is actually illegal, but it's everywhere. Sometimes even legitimized businesses in the industry have dealings with these kinds of scams. And not only do struggling actors lose money, they also run the risk of being blacklisted from ever working on certain union productions if they snitch on said companies. It's probably one of the oldest scams in Hollywood, certainly one of the ugliest, and it's probably never going to go away. So be careful out there. There was an article recently by Roy O'Carroll, who posted in The Guardian about this practice and how it has evolved in recent years. Casting director Katie Taylor stated in the article that young women and the parents of child models and child actors are the most heavily preyed upon in the fake industry of entertainment, the fake entertainment industry. And it has gotten worse as a direct result of social media. It has evolved in a number of different ways. Later in the article, Carol goes on to explain that the explosion of social media and reality TV shows have fueled demand by audiences for perceived authenticity. I want real people, not actors. But this only opens the door for more artifice and more disillusion. Later in the article, co-founder of the Biz Parent Foundation, Ann Henry, went on to state, audiences used to think a performer was someone unique or skilled. But the disillusion of stardom through social media has caused the whole industry to switch gears. You can be a celebrity just because of likes on social media. Now our culture seems to be more fame-oriented, and it's because the audiences tend to value being famous over what a performer can actually do. Now audiences think that anybody can be a star, which means everyone is now open to being scammed. So just be careful out there, okay? Stand with us if you can. Hopefully this will all get resolved. Remember, our greatest strength is in our unity. Performance matters. Keep breaking all the legs out there, and I hope to see you whenever I see you.